Welcome to the Astrology Forecast for February of 2024. Hi Justin, how you doing?
Great. How are you doing, Liz?
Great. So we have the forecast for you today for the month of February, and we have astrologers Justin Crockett Elzie and myself, Elizabeth Liz Muschett. And if we want to welcome you today, and Justin Crockett Elzie's website is justincrocketelzie.com, and his email is justin.elzie@gmail.com. And my website is alightpath.com, and you can email me at liz@alightpath. Please like, subscribe, and leave comments on our YouTube channel. So we have some general observations for February. All the planets are in direct motion. Go time, move forward.
Yep.
Aquarius is having a party as personal planets join in. The
Right.
modern ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and Uranus is very active this month. And Pluto is conjunct the personal planets and is also very active this month. You want to go on, Justin?
Yeah. So maybe we can talk a little bit about for those who may not know astrology. When we say personal planets, we're talking about the inner planets. Mercury, which is our communications and our thinking, and Venus, which is our planet of desires or love, and then Mars, which is the planet of action, how we take effort and action. And so those are what we consider the personal planets, the inner zodiac, the inner planets, and and then of course, so I just wanted to explain that for everybody, and then that the what else? I forget what else was on a slide.
Well, we have Uranus in Taurus that's squaring the personal planets. So
Right,
Uranus acts unexpectedly. So that's an interesting concept. And then we have
right,
Pluto conjunct the personal planets in Aquarius, and Pluto just moved into Aquarius
right.
just a week ago, perhaps. I think it was on
So
the
for
20th.
those Right, and so for those who don't know, Pluto archetype is that planet of death and rebirth. It's um, rules Scorpio, and so um, it's actually has it's as you mentioned, we've had a lot of people talking about it that's moved into Aquarius, and Aquarius is the sign of idealism and progressiveness. And how else would you describe Aquarius?
Well, it can be the rebel and lightning, computers, innovation, technology. So the theme to me for this month is we're really shifting. We've been had a lot of earth, and so that's more grounded and more stable. And now we're shifting into an air sign in an Aquarius. So for some, it could be a little chaotic. Others may not even notice. So just be patient and breathe.
Right, absolutely. And I think I think this is sort of like a real dynamic time, because if we look at Pluto here as this planet that's really a game changer. I mean, it really represents death and rebirth. And all these personal planets are running right over it, Mars, Venus, Mercury. And in the sign of Aquarius, it sort of changes. If you think about change, it's a big planet change. It could change the way we all think about things, because air sign of Aquarius, and with Mercury going into that and going over Pluto, sudden changes of how we're viewing things. It could. I sometimes think, Liz, that it's Mercury conjuncting Pluto and Aquarius is like all of a sudden we're being able to see the underlying factors within our reality. I mean, it's kind of like the door opens up and you see the whole underlying foundation of everything that affects your reality. And it could actually, Pluto, I kind of think, could elevate, because it's in the sign of Aquarius, elevate these personal planets to where we look at everything from a more spiritual perspective, the way we think. Mercury, the way we're our desires, what we value, and then what action we take right now, you know
Well, and how we feel about things, except on all levels.
Yeah. There's something else too. I don't know, I know you're doing a lot with your blog. So that's, and when we think of Aquarius, that's also social media, because Aquarius rules the 11th house of how we all think. So all the great work that you're starting, you're putting a lot of time into your blog and everything else. That's part of that Aquarian energy that's just blossoming. And so we may see in the collective some changes right around this period of time in social media, in communications, with this, and maybe some announcements in the space sphere. All of these themes that Aquarius rules.
Well, in this picture on here is a turtle that was in my yard laying eggs a couple of years ago, came out of the lake, and I thought that was really cool. It's like, new beginnings because we've gone from an earth sign into an air sign.
Yeah.
So, Aquarius is a fixed air sign, and we'll kind of expand on this a little bit more. We talked about it briefly, but it's assertive, genius, innovative, um, and I would say to observe instead of judging, be your unique self, and remember to breathe and enjoy nature. And the caution would be uh, not to be too aggressive, erratic. There could be high voltage, rebellion, sudden shakeups and breakups.
Well, I like how you said that uniqueness or eccentricness, because that's the Aquarian, which is this is a great time to, I think you alluded to it, where it's good for us to focus on what makes us unique, that Uranus energy.
Well, because when we were in the earth energy, it's like people want you to conform, and the Aquarius energy is like, okay, now you can be uniquely you.
Right. Yeah.
So on the 4th of February, Pacific time, and on the 5th Eastern time, Mercury enters Aquarius. Communication sparks innovative ideas and solutions. Do you have
Okay.
anything to add to that?
Well, I was just going to let people know that you've put it in chronological order here, and so this kind of gives us a view of kind of what's happening, one thing right after another. And as we were talking about the personal planets, the first one we see here is Mercury, planet of communications and thinking, moves into Aquarius. So now we're going to be focused possibly a little bit more on our social media or our communications in our workplace and our social groups. I mean, this is a great time to be, if a person's thinking about getting something out to the collective, sending out a newsletter, and you just sent out your newsletter, it's a great time to do something like that, because Aquarius rules the 11th house. And again, I love how you say here, it's communication sparks innovative ideas and solutions.
And around this time, there could be a lot of little quick trips that you have to make. You might have forgotten something at the grocery store, or you have to pick up your kids and you didn't think you had to pick them up that day. So there could be a lot of little short jaunts here and there and everywhere.
Mhm.
And then on the 5th, Venus in Capricorn squares Chiron in Aquarius. Unexpected breakthroughs, healing on a deeper level for self or others.
So how do you think this would affect people on where the rubber meets the road there? An example.
Um, well, it could be people you're in a relationship with, and it could be that you're teaching or sharing something with them that is helps them heal, because Chiron's about the wounded healer. Or it could be with somebody that they're telling you something. Um, it could be around your value system that maybe it's not what you thought it was, and uh, it's a shakeup of sorts, because it's like, well, I always thought it was this way, and now I learned that it's not that way. What would you say?
Well, I agree. And, Venus, for those why we're talking about values here, is because Venus, of course, rules Taurus, in the house of values, beauty. So this could be, Venus in Capricorn loves that structure of things. And this could be where we change some of our values or things we desire around the structure in our lives in order to be more valued. because Chiron in Aries is about being valued of self. So this could mean when somebody says, you know what, I'm done with this job. I'm Venus desire a better structure or better job in my life so that I'm more valued. That could be something that comes up here. So this is really kind of about being valued and desiring a new structure. I think that's the way I would look at it.
Okay, and then also on the 5th, we have Mercury conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. I would say that truth's surface, communication on a deeper level sparks new ideas.
Exactly. I think this is where we really think about all of a sudden our head shaken up, right? I mean, Pluto comes in and changes the way we think here. And so we could really see possibly right around this time that we if we wanted to step back and look at things from a better or higher spiritual perspective, we're able to. As I was saying earlier, it's where we're actually now be able to see uh, the capacity now to see the bigger picture.
Yes, yes. And on the 6th, we have Venus in a cardinal T square to the nodes of the moon or in the bendings. So squares are 90 degrees of separation from each other. And the nodes are the north node is where we're headed, the south node is our past, so to speak. There's probably some kind of adjusting to our desires and goals
Mm.
happening. What
Yeah.
about you?
Well, we know the nodes are in Libra and Aries, the signs of self and relationship. So this could again kind of what we were talking about, that Venus and Capricorn. This could be where we're like, this person isn't valuing me anymore. And Chiron's right there next to that North node in Aries. And so this could be where we actually say, I need to change some relationships in my life of where I'm valued or situation. Venus and that Capricorn is saying we need, like you have right there, adjusting our desires and goals to where we're more valued in our relationships, possibly.
Well, in our relationships of money, instead of letting money rule us, we rule money, so to speak.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
and then on February 7th, we have Venus in Capricorn, trine Uranus in Taurus, shift in relationships.
Hmm.
This is that they're acting together because a trine is 120 degrees of separation. So there's, some good communication happening between these two planets. Maybe working in a new way. Maybe you'll meet somebody new.
Hmm. Or you get a new job, or you
Yep.
get a raise. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I love the trines, and for those who just new to astrology, trines are really just an easy flow of. It's 2 points that are triangulated, and so it's an easy flow of energy between 2 points or two planets, and so Venus is trining Uranus, which means our desires are in alignment with change.
Well, and it's in mutual reception if you use the traditional ruler of Capricorn. Uranus is the traditional ruler of Capricorn, and um, Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So they're really working in cooperation. And so some unexpected, you know, good news
Mm.
around your work or relationships, perhaps.
Exactly. A mutual, for those who are just new to astrology, mutual relationship it means that two planets are in each other's signs or 2 points. And so, yeah, so Venus rules Taurus and Uranus, of course, Capricorn being the old ruler of it, definitely.
And then on February 8th, we have Sun in Aquarius, square Uranus in Taurus. Earth shaking, and perhaps some unexpected news, and maybe even an earthquake.
Let's hope not.
A small one, a gentle
Yeah.
one.
So what do you think about this?
Um, the Sun in Aquarius, oh boy. And they're square, so it's like something unexpected. It could be unexpected news. It could be, um, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, because the sun kind of represents our the self here, and it squares Uranus. It's pushing us to, as you've said before. I love how you always state it, how squares call for action, and it's a point of tension and action that has to be taken. This could be where people say, you know what, I really want to change something about myself, or I want to change some direction I'm going in my life, and I actually put my money where my mouth is here and make some changes.
Well, and maybe do a humanitarian act or give to a humanitarian cause, like, the pet shelter down the street or any number of things like that.
Right, right.
And then we have the Aquarius new moon on the 9th. It's at 20 degrees Aquarius. It's Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year. And the biggest aspect in this chart is the new moon squares the modern ruler Uranus. Um, so adjust, pivot, and change.
Just everything we were talking about there, because the sun is also squaring it too, right there. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, because the next day.
So it's like you can still do your intentions, your resolutions, your desires for the year, make a vision board, write a few desires down. Um, Still a very opportune time, and new moons are always about bringing things in and let your wishes be known.
Yep, yep.
And then on the 10th, we have Mercury in Aquarius square to Jupiter in Taurus. Bolder communication. Is it clear or is it static?
Yeah, so when we were talking before about within the past week that when Mercury entered Aquarius, now that's moved into that, and it's hit Pluto. We've changed the way we thought about some stuff. Now this may be where we actually put our money and where our mouth is here. We actually take action in the Earth sign, with Jupiter and Taurus to actually make some structural or material change here with some way we've changed our thinking. That's the way
Right.
I would put that.
Well, and we could just say, this job that I've had and I don't like it, I quit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, because Mercury squaring Jupiter, it's like it's asking, Jupiter's asking if we're growing here in our communications, and if our and in the way we're thinking, are we growing? And if we're not, then Jupiter's going to move stuff out of the way so we do here. So
Well, and possibly if somebody does communicate something that's kind of a little off, you might want to make sure that you understood them correctly.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
And then on the 12th, we have Mars entering Aquarius, increased energy, innovation. Do you have the whole picture?
Yeah. So this is, Mars is a planet of action and effort, and now it's, that air sign, as you've mentioned before, Aquarius is about energy and lightning and electricity, and so there can be an increase here. And then on the 13th, then it gets powerful. I think Mars conjuncting Pluto just gives that gas to the pedal to Mars to really just to burst out. And so to one of the earlier slides where you're saying about overdoing things, this could be where we may have to dial it back a little bit. What do you think?
Yes, because it's very possible to be obsessive compulsive. But there's this strong desire to get to the root, and it's a very busy time. Pretty much most of February is, pretty much go, 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 go. So I would say to make sure that you have enough rest and exercise, eat as well as you can, drink your water so you're hydrated. I'm going to say hydration is going to be really important
Mm-hmm.
this month. And I know for myself, I'm planning some salt baths because of all the energy of Aquarius. That'll help me to ground.
Right. And, for those who may be thinking about when are most auspicious dates to do certain things, well, Mars on a Pluto date is definitely, an Aquarius, an air sign, is definitely would be like the great day to publish a book, to put out a new media app, to do a blog, or to do a talk. Definitely you would have the energy to do it, but you might have to be careful that you don't overdo it. But it actually is a great, it's about taking action about something. And so this, if within the first quarter, I think if you had to pick a date of when's a good date to, where there could be the biggest bang for your buck, it may be when Mars hits Pluto.
Well, thanks for that. Okay, on the 16th, we have Venus entering Aquarius. So maybe some new friendships or shakeup in relationships moving forward. What would you say?
um, I would say, because Aquarius is that progressive, it kind of may take it. Maybe we may change our desires for something here to a higher spiritual level. Um, Venus is asking us to think more Aquarian versus Scorpio here, and elevate those desires to something higher.
Well, and perhaps like if it was a friendship or networking, perhaps it's like something that you would normally not go to and you go to it, or um, if you're accustomed to people um, looking a certain way. So if somebody showed up with rubber boots on, it's like, don't judge the package because you might be surprised um,
Hmm.
of the friendship that you could have, perhaps.
Yeah. And
And
this
then,
might be, go ahead.
go,
I'm sorry.
no, go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to move on to the next one, so please
Oh,
go.
no. So I was going to say, or this may be when you actually, hmm, I lost my train of thought there. Might be when you actually find that, or like you said, new friendship, find that relationship of something that helps you, um, really express your uniqueness of who you are as that Aquarian.
Well, maybe somebody invites you to something that normally you wouldn't go to it. I would say really consider before saying no because you might have more fun than you anticipated.
Right. Exactly.
And then also on the 16th, Mercury in Aquarius squares Uranus and Taurus. I would confirm communication and make sure that you understand each other correctly.
Yeah. And for those who may not know, Uranus is also a planet of communication, but we say a higher level than Mercury in communication, right? So you got two planets here that deal with communication, squaring each other. So this, there, whenever there's Mercury squaring, transiting Mercury squaring your natal Mercury, or Mercury squaring in Uranus, there's definitely, I love what you said here, confirmed communication. And you may actually have a little bit of difficulty, depending upon where this shows up in your chart, of trying to uh, get unstuck. This could be where you kind of feel a little stuck in your thinking processes.
Well, and perhaps it's like a missing piece comes through to you while you're having communication with somebody that you wouldn't even expect it because maybe weren't even going to talk about the topic, and it's like it just comes through or it triggers something in you to like the light turns on and it's like, oh, aha.
Right, right, absolutely, absolutely.
On the 17th, we have Venus conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, going deeper in relationships.
Or breaking up that relationship, right?
Right.
Venus hits Pluto, death of desires, death of relationship, possibly, and going for something that's more idealistic, possibly, because idealism is a part of that Aquarian archetype.
Right. And it could be just, checking into um, even renew your relationship on a deeper level, perhaps, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then on the 18th, Sun enters Pisces. So we have a shift in energy from air to water, moving into feeling and going with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 21st, this is a big one. We have Venus conjunct Mars in Aquarius. Begins a new 2 year cycle, God of war and God of peace coming together, moving forward to achieve desires and goals.
Yes. And as I was saying before we started filming this actually is at when Venus conjuncts Mars here in Aquarius, it's at 6 degrees, and it sits right on the USA's chart, on the south node. In Aquarius, it's 6 degrees, and Pholos, which is an asteroid, which means sudden change. So this is a really important date to watch of what events take place around this period of time. Um, what do you think? What do you think could happen right about this period of time?
Well, to me, it's like the masculine and the feminine joining together and having a new plan, so to speak. It's like we're going to do this together. So um, maybe there could be some healing. And it can just be within yourself, the masculine and feminine side of yourself, but it could be in groups. Maybe there's been some tension with the opposite sex, maybe, and you can just come to a new agreement or join together for a cause.
Right. Yeah, this could be like something bipartisan is done in Congress, or the hostage releasing out of Gaza. This is definitely really dynamic. Kind of maybe I agree. Kind of taking us back because it's on the USA chart, South Node. It could kind of take us back to our roots of where we come together and work together. So it could be a very positive thing. Definitely.
And then on the 22nd, we have Mercury entering Pisces. Heartfelt communication, compassionate.
Yeah, I love Mercury and Pisces. Mercury and Pisces, if people have that in their chart, they're compassionate communicators. So it could be a great time to focus on your dreams. Pisces rules that 12th house, and a great time for kind of maybe daydreaming or fantasizing or going through that creative process about what you discovered when Mercury was in Aquarius, possibly.
I like that. That sounds good.
Yeah,
And then we have the Virgo full moon on February 24th.
yeah.
The moon is opposite the sun, Saturn, and Mercury, and that's drawn in orange. And then we have moon trine Jupiter, and that's drawn in blue, and Jupiter square Venus in red. So, do you want to comment on any one of those aspects?
Well, I'm just curious what you think about that Mercury, Sun, Saturn opposing the Virgo moon. Since you have a Virgo moon, I'm just curious what you think about this.
Well, and they're in Pisces, so Sun, Saturn, and Mercury. That's an interesting combination. Um, because I always feel like the sun is an energy that we're moving towards. It's lighting up things, and then Saturn is the container, and Mercury's communication. So I would say some uh, better communication, but it's opposite the moon. So it's like maybe there's a way to do some healing on an emotional level,
Mhm.
but you have to find that spot, that good spot. Um, or people could be communicating and it might upset somebody's emotional state. They might not like
Right,
it.
right. Well, I always look at that Virgo moon out there is about discernment and improvement and critiquing, and it opposing that communications, Mercury in communications, and then Saturn there in Pisces. It's almost like this is the time to take those Piscean dreams and Mercury and the Sun with a little bit of reality of Saturn there, and make them reality with the Virgo moon. Actually, bringing things down to earth a little bit. And it could be a great time if you're editing something, and, or improving some creative project, possibly Piscean project.
Yes, that sounds good. And um, maybe improving your communication so that maybe there's something to learn. And
Right.
does it
And
make go
and
ahead.
and with moon training Jupiter could be where a creative project starts to make money. By making some critiques or adjustments, improvements, and yeah, that's what I would say possibly there.
And then Jupiter square Venus, and those are the benefics, the good planets, so to speak, is what they call them, and they're square to each other. So that's kind of an interesting combination, and they're in a fixed sign, so maybe they don't want to budge too much.
So what would you say how that may play out, that Jupiter squaring Venus in people's lives?
Perhaps they're kind of like, um, I want it this way and I don't want to change.
Yeah.
But it's asking for an adjustment or a change. So um, it might just take a little bit of time to integrate it, to make
Yeah.
that change. So be gentle on yourself, and you don't have to do it right away most of the time. So,
Yeah, I like that.
anything else to say about the full moon?
No, I don't have anything else.
And then on the 27th of February, we have Mars in Aquarius square Jupiter in Taurus. Pay attention to what you are doing today. Be the observer and slow down.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think is interesting about this is, if we look at Mars is about taking action, and all of a sudden now it's squaring Jupiter, which is about growth, and so this could mean where we question some actions that we're taking, or if we're really wanting to get things going and get things moving, and but Jupiter's like, nope, you got to reevaluate something of value here, possibly. So it could be a time when we don't necessarily move forward with something, with money or resources or something of value, because Jupiter is squaring Mars. It's holding it back a little bit to reevaluate. Like you said there, slow down, slow down.
Don't be in a hurry to go anywhere, because drivers could be agitated that day, or it's like, don't be in a hurry, because it's the faster you go, the slower you go.
Right, exactly.
And then on the 28th, Sun is conjunct Mercury, Saturn in Pisces, Cazimi in the heart of the Sun. Mature, compassionate communication.
Yeah.
So it's like these are all together, and we kind of talked about them together. Um, so it's like, I would say, good communication with yourself too.
Yeah, bringing a little Saturn in Pisces, I always say, brings a little dose of reality to the Piscean archetype. It's about making, bringing your dreams, putting some discipline into your dreams, and make them reality. So this could be the time when we, like you said, mature. I love that. Mature, compassionate communications.
And then on the 29th, it's leap day.
Yep. Little
So
extra
that,
day there.
yes, so that concludes that portion of our presentation. So, in a few words, do you have like overall look at what the February has for people or the world?
Yeah, I would go back to how Pluto is elevating the personal planets here. Everything from our desires, our communications, to our action is can be elevated to a more spiritual way of thinking, and changing the way we're thinking about what's happening. So um, it's really a time that we're able to actually see behind the curtain, and
Uh,
and and elevate of and see things from a different perspective. That's the way I would think about it. What
yeah,
Pluto is causing for us.
yeah, it feels like there's new opportunities and new ways of doing things. It's kind of feels exciting at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to take advantage of that Mercury and Aquarius. When it hits
Yes,
Pluto, um, sending out some communications, and because it can be very powerful.
yes, I agree. So please like and subscribe and comment below. We enjoy hearing from you. And some of the upcoming episodes are Astrology Star Sisters Talk Over Tea, and the topic will be Venus conjunct Pluto.
And
The
you're doing that with who?
with Sue Minahan.
Awesome, awesome.
And then Aquarius New Moon 2024 on Talk Cosmos is this Sunday, and you and I we're part of the archetypal symbols.
Also,
And
it's in a hand there. Also,
yes.
yes.
And then the full moon forecast for the Virgo full moon is you and I for that.
And we should note that you and I both have Virgo moons. So if you really want to know about Virgo moons, come listen to us. You're really going to feel what a Virgo moon's like with that.
And so I want to thank you for joining us today. And here again is our contact information if you need to get a hold of us. And we enjoy having you join us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Any last thoughts?
Have a great February. It's going to be a roller coaster ride.
Thank you.
All right.